Hello Opimian members, I'm Igor Ryjenkov, Master of Wine, and today we're tasting the Master case from Cellar 309 featuring the wines from Sicily. All three of them are actually Nero d'Aula based wines. Two are blends, mostly Nero d'Aula, and one is 100% Nero. The wines are made by the wine people. It's actually a collective of like-minded people that was a brainchild of Stefano Girelli and Peter Costan. And they have regional wineries that produce wines representative of the area. However, Sicily happens to be their strength, and the idea behind the business was to offer customers a one-shop stop for best of what Italy has to offer. The Sicilian winemaking is in capable hands of winemakers Mattia Giacomelli and Stefano Chioccioli. So to set up the tasting, you don't really have to do a whole lot. It really varies on what you want to get out of it. Even standing around the kitchen aisle with your mates, just having all three wines open and tasting them back and forth and having a discussion is a good enough approach. It could be as simple as, which one I like better. Do you like this one? Do you like that one? However, if you want to get a little bit more technical, it may be a good idea to get some white background, be it just a sheet of clean paper or a tablecloth like we have here. So you can actually gauge the color of the wine by putting it against the white background. So we're going to taste wines in the following order. We'll taste the Fedele Rosso Terre Siciliane IGP Organic first, because it's probably the lightest of the three. Then we'll move to Colpasso Nero d'Aula Sicilia DOC, which, this order could be switched between 2 and 3. The reason we put the third one where it belongs, Terre de Camo Rosso Terre Siciliane IGP Appassimento, is because it probably is the fullest bodied wine of the lot, given that it's actually made from grapes that were partially racinated. So let's jump in. So we're starting with Fedele Rosso Terre Siciliane IGP Organic. Actually, 2 of the 3 wines are organic and all of them are vegan. So good to know. As well, sustainable is a pretty strong focus for the wine people as well as for the Sicilian winemaking team. So the color is pretty deep on all 3 wines. This one probably is the lighter of the 3. It's still pretty deep ruby, maybe with a hint of garnet on the rim. So it's well extracted wine, and given that Nero d'Aula is a popular red grape in Sicily, probably the most planted grape in Sicily, it's not surprising really that we get good color, because in the past, until fairly recently, it actually was used as a blending grape to boost maybe the wines that needed a little bit of color or extract support, so to speak. But it's actually quite a nice grape on its own when treated right, and we actually have a chance to see the 3 expressions of it. So this particular wine is actually a blend. It's still mostly Nero d'Aula, but has just a touch of Merlot and Syrah. So let's smell it. I would recommend maybe a gentle kind of sniff at first, so maybe not even before you agitate the wine, just to make sure that the wine is sound. Certainly appears to be that. And then we can swirl the wine to release the aromas. And I actually am using my tasting notes from the catalog, and I think, it showed fairly consistently then as it does now. So I'm getting inky, kind of red plum, black cherry notes, hints of very ripe blackcurrant, and a touch of lees, spent yeast. It's well put together on the palate. It's dry, has a balanced acidity, medium weight, medium weight that's made of a medium tannin and medium extract, medium length, medium fruit intensity, and the replay of the flavors on the palate. So again, slightly inky, prune, a little bit of chokeberry, black currant, and nice finish. The tannins are ripe, a little powdery, present, but not really obstructive in any way. There is a great variety of food you can pair this wine with, because it's not really overbearing, it's not very heavy, it's not very light. So you can certainly try it with cold cuts, like hors d'oeuvres to begin the evening, or with proteins, lamb, pork even. Well-seasoned pork probably will go well with this wine. And a nice cut of beef will also work well. So there is a fair amount of flexibility. And that's one thing actually I should mention, that the food suggestions, it's just a starting point. Feel free to just experiment with the wine, just see kind of what really strikes you as you taste the wine, what comes to mind, maybe kind of as an interesting food pairing, because cassoulet, for example, might be a good pairing with this wine as well. So yeah, don't limit yourself necessarily just to kind of what the experts suggest, so to speak. So second wine is Nero d'Aula Sicilia DOC. And actually all three wines, they're not really coming from any specific sub-areas. Sicilia DOC, it's actually a DOC that covers the entire island. And the Terre Siciliane IGPs, they also cover the island. They have their own preferred vineyards where they source the wine from, but it's really more about maybe all Sicilian expression rather than a very site-specific expression of the grape in this case. This grape is Nero d'Aula on the label, meaning that it has to be at least 85%, and it's more than that here. And while it's not necessarily mentioned on the label, it is actually made with a small amount of slightly dried grapes, just a touch. So let's give it a smell. I get a lot of herb and spices on the nose. Notes of plum custard, cheesecake, some vanilla, pickling spices, dried florals, and kind of dried leaf as well. Notes on the nose. Let's give it a taste. You can see a quality progression here. The fruit intensity is kind of on medium plus length. The acidity versus the rest of the structure, medium riper, more dissolved tannins here, shows that we're probably dealing with wine of more aspirational quality here. Has really nice length, has nice fruit intensity, and pretty persistent finish. Similarly, again, we're talking here Nero d'Aula, so kind of the range of the flavors is going to be fairly tight. I think protein pairing is really a good idea. Apricot lamb tagine with couscous is what the catalog recommends, and I think it's a good choice. You can try maybe a duck, you can try goose, lamb as mentioned, and beef also, with probably kind of medium rare would be good choices to pair with this wine. If you pair first wine and second wine with vegetarian dishes, probably aim for medium intensity flavors, be it the grilled vegetables or the sauce that you would use for maybe a tofu base. I think that probably would work best with wine 1 and 2. So the last wine number 3, is actually a Appassimento wine. So a portion of the grapes have been dried before the wine was made. So it's actually a technique that used widely in Veneto area and in some parts of Lombardy, but it's actually found its use as well in Tuscany, in Governo, and Yuzu style, as well as in the south, in this case in Sicily, which concentrates the flavors. And historically, it was a way to maybe help preserve wines longer, but today it's really made basically to concentrate the flavors that the grapes yield upon pressing and before wine is made. Let's give it a sniff. The dryness, or rather the dried grapes, offer here a little bit more like a darker style of fruit. So we get prune, fig, endive, sealing wax, and licorice, hickory elements in the aromas. Let's taste it. It has balanced acidity, probably kind of on the lower end, but adequate to support the rest of the structure. It's probably not entirely bone dry. I would probably say just a few grams of residual sugar appear to be in the wine, but it doesn't come across as sweet at all. It just helps to round the palate and plays off well against the flavors of the more concentrated grapes. Again, we have prune, we have fig, a little bit of endive, licorice, chicory notes, and the tannins, more tannins on the palate in my opinion, but they still ripe and well resolved, and it has pretty good length and finishes with medium plus also finish. For this wine, probably I would look for a slightly different type of sauce. If we use duck, for example, I probably would be thinking like a plum sauce to go with that. So something a little bit more flavorful, maybe with a hint of sweetness, similar with the sauces for the steak or lamb. And likewise for the vegetarian options, I think I would probably punch up the sauces to match with this wine because it's a little fuller, the flavor is a little bit riper, a little bit bigger, and I think it can stand up to more intense flavors on the plate. So I hope it was fun. I hope you enjoyed the tasting, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.